Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, I'm not dead. Just took a little break from YouTube for the first time in almost 2 years to recharge the batteries before the 30th anniversary content went live. And in the new suite of weapons that came along with the mid-season content drop, I was pretty surprised to see something that a lot of us have been asking for quite some time. A legendary trace rifle by the name of Retraced Pathed. This is a solar trace rifle firing at 1,000 rounds per minute with a base 94 rounds in the magazine. And the stats here, while good, aren't necessarily out of the ordinary for a trace rifle. 100 in aim assist, decent range, good stability, and pretty average marks in handling and reload speed. But as with all legendary weapons, these can be tweaked and tuned through the weapon's perks. For our barrel options, we pretty much have the standard fare. On my favorite roll that I've got so far, I've been running Chambered Compensator, maxing out the recoil direction and bumping up the stability. In column 2 we have our battery options, with 2 new selections I do believe. At least I don't remember seeing these ones in the past. Light battery, granting 9 to handling and 10 to reload speed. And tactical battery, which did roll on mine, increasing the range and stability by 4 and bumping up the reload speed by 10. In per column 3 we do have some decent options. Subsistence, Killing Wind, and Feeding Frenzy are the standouts in my book. But we also have the newly added Perpetual Motion. This is a stacking perk that grants bonus stability, handling, and reload speed while the wielder is in motion. And in per column 4, we got some winners. 4 out of the 6 available perks are damage perks. Harmony, One for All, Frenzy, and the newly added Golden Tricorn perk. Which does sound pretty interesting. I haven't seen it drop yet though, but I am very interested in testing it out. Also in column 4, Retraced Pathed can roll Demolitionist, and I think this perk really increased in value with the most recent sandbox changes, especially if you're running a grenade with a very lengthy cooldown. The only miss in column 4 is probably Disruption Break in my opinion, but honestly, if that's the worst we got, we're sitting pretty good. In the end though, I leave it up to you to decide what the quote-unquote god roll is. I always recommend heading over to d2gunsmith.com, tinkering around with the perks, and finding a combination that's gonna work well for you. As far as the damage output is concerned though, in PvE versus Carl, Retraced Pathed is scoring 806 points of damage to the body and 1,129 on a crit. This puts the maximum damage within a single magazine at 106,126. Time to fire off all 94 rounds comes in at 6.21 seconds. Which puts the single mag damage per second at 17,090. For comparison's sake, we'll take a look at Coldheart, whose damage does increase with sustained damage. It starts out dealing 1,129 on a crit, and can move up to 2,032. A full 101 round magazine carries a maximum of 186,618 points of damage. Time to empty, 6.56 seconds. Single mag damage per second, 28,448. But with Retraced Pathed, if you do have a damage perk, your damage output can be increased substantially. Plus, you can equip a spec mod to further increase your damage. So, just for demonstration purposes, my One for All roll, with a major spec applied, crits Carl for 1,643 points of damage. And if you do time it right, you can get a full magazine off before One for All expires. This is going to bring the single mag damage up to 154,442. And the single mag damage per second is being increased to 24,870. So even with the big 35% damage buff from One for All, it doesn't quite keep up with Coldheart, but not terrible either. In PvP, body shots are going to land for 13 points of damage and crits will register 17. This is exactly the same as Coldheart's base damage. This is going to put our optimal time to kill at 0.73 seconds with 9 crits and 3 body shots. And our body shot time to kill is going to come in at 0.93 seconds with 15 shots landed. Both can vary slightly depending on the enemy guardian's resilience tier. If you'd like to consider things with a 20% damage buff, we're doing 15 to the body and 21 to the head. Optimal time to kill moves down to 0.62 with 10 crits. Body shot time to kill goes down to 0.8 with 13 shots landed. And for the physical range, Retraced Pathed can hit for full damage from right around 35 meters away. And that's give or take a few meters depending on the range stat on your roll. Performance wise, for starters, I just want to give Bungie a nod of appreciation for finally adding a legendary trace rifle to the game. It's been a long time coming. I've always enjoyed using trace rifles, I thought they were a fun weapon class, but I generally didn't want to commit my exotic slot to one. It's really nice being able to equip one and leave my exotic slot open for other options. And at least in PvE, I think this is a very solid weapon. The base stats are good and can be boosted as you see fit. And any of the damage perks that you get can make Retraced Pathed a great weapon for ad clearing, while packing enough punch to efficiently deal with major targets from mid-range. It's not ideal for burning down boss tier targets, but at least you can deliver your damage from a safe distance. And trace rifles in general, since they did get that dedicated mod set a few seasons back, can be a great option when running a double special loadout. I've been running mine a good bit with Bastion backing it up in the kinetic slot, while making use of particle deconstruction, and the tandem has been treating me very well. Retraced Pathed serves as my general use weapon, while Bastion takes care of any targets that need to go away right now. And with the applicable Scavenger, Finder, and Reserves mods, ammo never really seems to be an issue. Or if you wanted to, you could actually run double trace rifles, something we've not been able to do up to this point. Since Agar Scepter does reside in a kinetic slot, you can run it alongside of Retraced Pathed. I don't think this is the most efficient loadout, but if you think it sounds like a good time, give it a go. It's a video game, have fun with it. And in PvP, Retraced Pathed really isn't a bad weapon on that side of the game either. But I'm not quite as hot on it over there. Trace rifles in general do inherently have very respectable time to kills, especially considering that .93 on body shots. These weapons are very accurate when firing from the hip, and not too bad while airborne either. But Retraced Pathed does have the added benefit of being able to slot an Icarus grip mod. And if you do get one of those damage perks rolling, it does become even more lethal. The problem still remains, you are using a special weapon that has marginally better time to kills than 720 autos or SMGs. Albeit with better range, but I do often overestimate how quickly this weapon can put down enemy guardians. And the sights on this frame are a little bit chunky, but I suppose you'll have that from time to time. But if you do end up finding a nice roll, I think it's at least worth taking for a spin in the Crucible. I don't think it's the best weapon, but it's plenty capable of taking some enemy players off guard. But all in all, I'm really happy with Retraced Pathed, and I'm excited to finally have a legendary trace rifle available in the game. And if you did enjoy this video, remember to leave it a like, drop any thoughts you have down in the comments. If you do want to join up on the Ironworker Gaming Discord, the link is in the description. You guys are awesome, and I will catch you on the next one.